Gladstone City Commission for March 28th to order. First up is invocation, and I don't think anyone's here to do it, so I think I have to do it. Lord of all creation, we come today to honor you and to remind ourselves of your pivotal place in our lives. We ask for your blessings on this meeting. We ask that your wisdom would guide us as we seek to accomplish the goals on today's agenda. Thank you for the opportunities you give us to serve you and to serve others. May our actions and our attitude please you this day. We pray these in your mighty name. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, roll call.
Commissioner Phelan.
Here.
Commissioner O'Connor.
He's excused.
Commissioner Thompson.
He's excused.
Commissioner View.
Here.
Mayor Bostwick.
Here. All right, first up is public comment.
I'd like to make a comment about the budget. My name is Orvis Velikat. I live at 34 Maple View Drive. What I understand is if you pass that budget the way it is now, that in July you're going to have to increase our millage by 1.8. And I also understand that Steve View had redid the budget on his own and presented it to you, and you refused to look at it. Which, with his budget, the way he did it, it would eliminate a lot of the increases on non-essential business items in the budget. And I am asking you as councilmen to please pass Steve's budget. Then we will not have to have a tax increase. Because I don't think we should be burdened with another tax increase in July. And I think if you ask the city manager, she will tell you there will have to be an increase to cover the budget that she proposed. And by Steve's budget, the one that he proposed, will reduce the cost at over $100,000. And it will not affect anybody who works for the city. It'll be just on non-essential projects will be held at last year's level. There will be no increases. That's why I'm asking you fellows on the board, please don't pass this budget. Accept the budget that Steve View presented to you. And you can make amendments to increase it if you want to go up or down with it. But by accepting his proposal, you will not have to put the 1.8 mils on us. Because everybody that's over 65 is on Social Security this year. We did not get a raise from the government. And I believe you should do your part by not increasing the burden on us, because I don't have the money. And a lot of people in this town do not have the money. And you can talk to the electrical department. There's over 400 people who cannot afford to pay their electrical bill. So please, don't increase our budget. Turn it down and accept Steve's version of the budget. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ken Levine, 2722 South Hill Road, Gladstone. There's a lot of things wrong with this budget. For one thing, a budget is made out every year, and we say it's balanced. I don't see how it can be balanced when you go at the end of the year and you take money out of this to pay for this to make the budget even. You got $52,000 in 2010. That's going to come out of the general fund. The compost site, we were told there was $45,000 in there, but there wasn't any. 40 trees been cut down, the alleys are in there, the forestry's in there. All of us volunteers worked there for nothing last year, and we saved a lot of money. And we spend money out of our own pockets too. We didn't mind that because we're from Gladstone. This is our town. We love our town, and we wanted to see it work. And if it doesn't work, it won't be many years down the road. It'll be like Detroit coming in here, and they'll shut us down like you wouldn't believe. So that budget that he's talking about, the non-essentials, something should be done about that. Because it's not gonna hurt the people that are working for the city. And not only that, if we don't start putting some money into the MERS, these people that are gonna retire to work for the city, they worked quite a few years here. Are they gonna get their pensions? I don't think so. If they do, they won't get the full pension, the full amount. So I just think that what Orb just said, I'm saying the same thing, and I'm sure if other people were here, would say the same thing. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any other public comment? All right, next up is the consent agenda for the open forum on March 14th, the regular meeting of March 14th, the budget workshop, solid waste minutes for March 7th, Parks and Rec for March 1st, Board of Review organizational meeting for March 8th, the Board Review for March 15th, 17th, and 18th, the compost site committee for March 17th, and payment of bills.
I move that we accept the consent agenda A through J.
I'll support.
All right, motion by Commissioner Phelan, support by Commissioner View for the consent agenda. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next up is the unfinished business special events coordinator position.
This is an item that was tabled at our March 14th regular city commission meeting, waiting the results of the special DDA meeting, joint city commission and DDA meeting. That was held last week, and at that meeting, it was decided this position would not be filled, so I think that is our decision, right?
Yep.
Unless something has changed. That was consensus at that meeting.
I think we probably still have to, we'll probably still have to make a motion or something.
To not fill the position at this time.
Not to fill the position.
I'll move that we don't fill the special events coordinator position.
I'll support it. Motion by Commissioner Phelan, support by Mayor Bostwick to not recommend the special events coordinator position. Any discussion?
Well, the only thing I would say is that there's still gonna be the events. There's money put in some of the, we'll hire special people, just event specific is what I understand, where they'll come in, a month before the event or whatever we have and kind of organize it. There's like $15,000. It ain't that we do not want events in town.
Right.
It's just we're streamlining it right now until we get a little more financially sound.
Well, I don't know that we were gonna pay anybody. We were gonna use volunteers, and a lot of the money that
Well, if we
was,
can, yeah.
but the money was actually, the event coordination has actually been handed over to the city. Darla and her staff will be taking care of that.
The position that will not be filled
Right.
the way it was.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. All right, next is the compost site recommendation. Mark?
Good evening. I wanted to first point out the folks that served on the compost site committee for their time and effort, putting forth their time for that. Mayor Bostwick was on that. Pat Madden, Patrick, I saw you were here. Yep, right there. Ken Levine, Joe Quinn, myself, and Darla sat in on some of the meetings as well. So anyways, I just wanted to say thank you for your time because that's very valuable. So we met 3 times. Our committee met 3 times, and the first couple times we bounced around ideas about what it could be, this and that. But we never really came to consensus about what's really going on here. And I want to use one word that I think that is what we, in the end, I think this is what the committee came to is sustainability. That's really what when we're trying to get down to the end of the day, we want to make sure that we're doing things that can last and keep going on. And so we came to a conclusion on this, on the compost site committee with sustainability in mind. First of all, I'll just go right to our third meeting because that's the one where it like pretty much summarizes everything. And anyone else that's in the committee, feel free to pipe in or whatever. First of all, I went back and did a lot of research on the compost site. It started in 1985 here in the community. Started that. It became a certified compost site sometime in the 90s, and the city's been running a certified compost site since then. A certified compost site has several different things they need to meet. They can only bring in so much product. You have to turn it. Every so often you have to take temperature readings and you have to take compost out. 75% of what you bring in a year has to leave. Those are some things that DEQ asked us to do. From what I gathered, the city never really has done that. Or not that I could see in any records or anything. Certainly not since I've been here. Back in 2012, there was, I know that the solid waste fund was in the millage. If I'm going off, let me know if I'm wrong here. It was part of a millage. And the city decided to go to a fee-based system. When they went to a fee-based system, some fees were established. $11 for garbage and recycling, $4 for a customer charge. And that customer charge, so the garbage and recycling, that $11 was garbage and recycling. The $4 customer charge at the time covered administrative cost, spring cleanup voucher programs, and the use of the compost site. 18% of that charge is what came in to run that compost site. So that amounted to about $19,000, which isn't enough money to run a compost site. So that's what we had. That's how it was being done. That's what we had. This year we spent $40,000 up at the compost site doing what we do, and we still didn't quite do all the things the right way. At the same time, in 2012, forestries and alleys got lumped into the compost site on top of, in the solid waste fund, I'm sorry. I don't know why or anything, but it did. So we never really had enough money to run a compost site, I guess, the bottom line is, from what I'm seeing, the correct way.
The forestry and alley, don't make it interrupt you, but
Yep.
forestry and alley, that was coming out of the complete solid waste fund, or was that part of the $4 fund, or the $11.95?
In 2010, forestry and alleys were not part of any solid waste fund at all.
Okay.
And when the fees were established for solid waste and for the compost site, the customer charge and the forestry and alleys were not part of the equation.
In 2012 even?
Yes.
So when did they get added to it?
It was a right run about then. I don't know how. I don't know what happened. I don't know. I wasn't here. I just know that they got lumped into it. So we didn't have enough money to do it, and then two funds we were doing on top of it. So the city's been using cash reserves basically to help pay for use of the compost site and these other things, forestry and alleys. So we went through 5 different options that we put together. One was a leaf pickup. Second was operating the compost site the right way, I guess. The third was to do a transfer station, like if you wanted to take your stuff up and we would just truck it over to the landfill for people here. And let's see here. Fourth was providing a once a month curbside pickup in front of your house, come up and pick up stuff. And then the third was to just do away with it completely and give money back to everyone. So we just don't do that anymore. Okay. The amount of money that 18%, that 18% is what it comes back to. So 18% of what we have right now is what would be coming off the bill. So if right now it's $495, it would go down to like $405 a month. Your customer charge would be $405 instead of $495. It would be $405. But we wouldn't have a compost site anymore.
What is the other 405 cover?
That's admin cost. That's the voucher system.
What voucher system? Oh, for the spring cleanup?
Spring cleanup, yeah. Yeah. All right.
What is the admin for, Darla?
The director's time. The director's time is divided amongst all the funds that he administers,
My time's
time plus benefits.
about 20% of my time is put towards solid waste as a whole. 21%, I believe, is the number.
So 20% of that would still only be roughly $1, so we still got, so the spring vouchers are costing us how much?
Spring voucher is only about $9,000.
If you look on the option pages, Dave, it has,
Yeah, I see he's got these all
Garbage
broken down,
pickup.
but it just doesn't make sense to me. I guess,
Well, this stuff never made sense to me either. It didn't make sense to any of us on the compost site, so.
well, I
Committee.
don't see where all this extra money's going to, I guess that's what I wanna know.
Well, based on what I mean, so if you just take that fee right now, the city would have about $27,000 to do some sort of, whether it's a leaf pickup, curbside pickup or something. About $27,000 is about what I come up to. I mean,
After you deduct the 90 cents?
no, that's if we kept it in there. That's if we kept it in there. That's about what we would have to
So
do
that'd be
that.
about 18%.
That was the number that was used in 2012 to establish that. So without going, it was hard to go back and try to figure it out.
I
Well-
really hate to see us lose the compost pile, I know that,
Well, I think, I know Steve was talking that I think we need to have a separate meeting on this, just on the compost site.
do you
And
have,
have people come in and give their opinion, and then we'll have more time to explain it all. And with 3 commissioners, I do not feel like making a decision tonight on this.
oh.
Okay.
Is this, I just got one more question on
Yep.
here. You got $75,230 for composting, is that what you figure it would cost?
Probably, if we were to run a
If you were gonna
full-blown
run it
thing.
right, that's what it would cost you?
Yeah, that's about what I'm calculating.
Okay,
And we have about 27,
How much was it last year?
so.
40, you said.
We're about 40 this past
But
year.
we weren't running
We weren't doing it the right way. Yeah,
to the specs of the DEQ.
yeah, right. Yeah.
What, DEQ come and shut us down if we're not in compliance?
I don't know.
Have they ever come and inspected it?
They do inspect it. I had them come and look at it, you know. They liked what we did to it this past year. I mean, they liked the fact we cleaned it up and that we did, made it look like something. But they didn't like the fact we haven't been turning the piles or taking temperature readings and all that. We weren't monitoring the gate.
Is that a combination of lack of money and manpower, or?
Well, I think I'm not sure if the compost site ever really went off. Just my observations. Did it really start off on the right foot? I don't know. Or maybe it's lost sight of what it is. I don't know. Maybe it's just a bunch of things over the years add up, and here we are, we're dealing with it.
The only thing I want to say is, what a beautiful setup you have there now compared to what we had before for the citizens.
Yeah.
On how it used to be utilized compared to how it's being used today.
Yeah. Most communities don't have anything like that. I mean, they don't. I mean, a lot of folks will have someone come pick up leaves, or they'll go do a curbside pickup, or
But we
some
don't
sort
have
of.
that either.
We don't have that, right. But, so to have a compost site, it's not, I wouldn't say a normal thing. I mean, there are some in the state, but not every community has them.
Do you think a public hearing would be good if you explain all your options and then we get the input from the citizens on what they're willing to absorb in keeping this compost site open?
I think it's gonna come down to the amount of money and what's sustainable for the city. I mean, really, the city's gotta decide what it can afford to do. I mean, the bottom line, I mean, what's important here? And,
Well,
you know,
especially saying you have on the reserve for future truck and carts.
yes, and so if we go this route, it would be shut down. We didn't like that. I mean, Ken was on that. He's not happy about that, but it's like and he was a big proponent of it. But, when you get down to it, this would enable us to put money in reserve for equipment and stuff for trucks and pickup and stuff, and like we're supposed to. So we want our garbage and recycling to continue, I believe. I think that's an important service, so.
Right.
So anyways, it's just about being sustainable. I don't know what everyone wants to do, but I mean, we have to do it within a budget,
Right.
and so,
Well, I don't feel right making a decision without having
mhm,
the citizenry
yeah,
tell us what they're looking for. Sometimes they set their priorities a little bit different than
mhm,
what we feel needs to be.
yeah. So what do I
Taken
do?
care of.
So
Well,
what do I do in
as
the
of
meantime?
now, I would say just leave it closed
Yeah, we
until
can't
we
open it.
All right,
have a talk.
that's fine.
Can we
That's
set a
what-
public hearing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would move we set a public hearing,
Do you want to do it the next meeting,
no, April 25th,
April 25th? Okay.
where we can have both the city explain their side and the citizens can come and talk about what they feel is important and what they're willing to.
Is that our open forum?
No, do you want to do it during a meeting?
A
'Cause-
public hearing would happen during a regular
Right.
commission
Yeah,
meeting.
Right, okay.
I would like
Do
to
you
have it
want to
during
do
the
a public
meeting.
hearing meeting? Okay. Okay, so
I
during,
mean, they have an opportunity to speak to us. I think that's only fair.
sorry.
So I move that on April 25th, we have a public hearing on the compost site, getting the side of the city on expenses and what the citizens feel they would like to say about it.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, you gotta put that in motion?
I just did.
Okay, and you
I'll second
second it? Okay. That motion by Commissioner View, support by Commissioner Phelan. Any more discussion?
There ain't many here tonight.
I know. All right, no, say no more. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thanks, Mark. All right, next up is the fiscal year 2016-17 proposed budget.
Okay, before you tonight is the proposed budget, $12,539,386. I didn't have a chance to amend the DDA budget, though, based on the meeting we had last week. And, just give me a second here of that. So the balance went into fund balance, so that would be, so 172,290. We added, 3750 in revenue. So that brings revenue up to 262,600. And then whoops. Minus 171,740. And we changed a bunch of things on the expense side, but the grand total from 172,290 went down to 171,740, so a decrease of $550. So that would come off the 12,539,386 minus 550. So 12,538,836 is the proposed budget. Just want to mention again, we did talk about the millage rate quite a bit when we talked about the general fund and different budget workshops. I'm not proposing an increase in the city's millage. I'm proposing the 15.5021 that we have levied for the last couple years to cover general fund expenses. We talked about that quite a bit at the budget workshop. But that is a separate agenda item at the first meeting in June before we levy the taxes in July. The L 4029 is a separate agenda item that the commission votes on in June. So just wanted to make a clarification on that. So do you want me to go through any funds specifically?
No,
What-
I think we've gone through these enough. We've been through them several times already.
And we can keep doing the fund at a time, like we started there, the water fund and the solid waste fund.
Right.
Did you guys go through her list of her other recommendation budget cut? The 38,400? The one thing on here that I would not be in favor of is the public library. I think we definitely need to be continuously funding that library, because it's not just a school library, it's a public library.
I thought we decided.
We did, but I'm just saying,
Well, this was the last direction
Right.
for me to try to cut another $180,000 in case the
Oh, that was-
1.8
okay.
mils wasn't levied without touching people or services. I don't feel we can do that. We came up with 48,400. In a little way, that does affect services, like you said, the public library. We've always, in the past, we've funded that to the amount of 25,000. We're down to 6,100. That was talked about at one of the workshops. That's not a service and that's not people specifically. But these were some of the options that staff and I came up with that we felt were, if you wanted to consider any of these.
Well, like, public safety, material and supplies, why would we reduce that? What's in there that they can give up? That's,
Nothing specifically, but, like we talked about, like our computers, for example, was one of the things we talked about. We try to rotate replacing our computers, every 4 or 5 years. That would mean, possibly not replacing a computer or a printer or buying a supply that it's in the rotation to, replace. Technology outdates itself pretty quickly. It's basically kicking the can down the road.
I've heard that before. The biggest thing is if you got some departments here where we're going to recommend transportation and lodging, education and training, but we're not hitting all the departments. I don't understand why, some of them might feel slighted that you're cutting us, but you're not cutting everybody. And I'm not saying 100%.
Right, this is not eliminating that department altogether. I mean, 300 was just squeezing a little bit more out,
Well, that's what I'm in favor of, is trying to just essential travel, essential training. If we can, networking is good, but for maybe a year or two, we need to cut back a little bit till we get on track with, that's what I looked at, and that's what was spoken about, that I did that 5-page, I didn't submit a budget, I just submitted 5 pages of information, basically like that I thought, I looked at what the budget consumed the prior years,
Right.
what was recommended this year, and then I kind of cut according to what they used from the increase. And I thought that would be a good way to pitch in on the staff side, is all I was thinking.
We did talk about that at a staff level. We didn't bring it back to the commission to talk about that sheet that you had passed out. In some of the departments that you had cut, though, For example, our building inspector is fairly new. There is required training that he has to attend, where the previous building inspector, it was just recertifications basically for him. So that's why, you know, for one example, I mean, that,
Well, I realized that, and that's why I picked every department.
sure.
Because I figured when it came back to us at the budget session, yous would surely set us straight with your 100 years of experience in telling us that this we have to have, this would be nice to have, this we can probably eliminate.
Sure.
And I was looking forward to having that type of discussion on a $200,000 cut on what I figured would be a starting point.
Hindsight's 20/20. I wish we would have had that list while we were putting the budget together. We can definitely set another workshop and go through that list specifically. That's an option.
Well, I handed it out at a budget workshop, and in the minutes, it said that we would go through it at the end, and we never did.
Is that the night we went till 8:30 and we were supposed to get
Yeah,
done
we-
at 7? I mean,
Bless the staff's heart, we kept them moving all the time. When we were green, and I apologize if I offended anyone, but I really needed to get up to speed as much as I could, and I think the rest of the commissioners felt the same way, that they were long, grueling sessions that of very learning. Thanks for Jay, he set us straight on a lot of things that
Sure.
he already knew, but we're accountable to you, so we were just trying to figure out ways of doing it. I mean, I don't know if there was anything in there that could have saved money. It was $200,000. That's a lot of money that's non-essential, as far as I was concerned. But you could have easily come back with a proposal saying, this is essential. Our building inspector has to go here.
if you'd like to set a workshop, we can definitely go through that and bring that back to the table. The budget can always be amended.
Well,
We just have to pass something tonight.
my main concern is when we pass a budget and something doesn't turn out right, the main thing I've always heard, it's the commission's fault. And I want some flexibility to work with the city staff and to trust their judgment and years of experience, so that if I say yes on this budget, they're not coming back and saying, why didn't you think about that in the beginning, or change it then? Because it's hard, hindsight is hard.
Yeah.
And I don't, and I have a lot of people asking me, how can you pass something when you gotta pass something later to increase the budget that you voted against before? That's difficult to even consider. And I said, regardless what happens tonight, no matter how I vote, if it passes, I will support it.
But the budget, you have to remember, it's a living document. It can be amended, just like your home personal budget, if you know.
Yeah, but it has repercussions in the future that,
I think we met every night we possibly could. I mean, we were,
I know, it was drooling.
but we can still continue those meetings. We can still continue the workshops. We can,
Well, it's tough with two commissioners missing tonight.
Yeah.
It's very, very tough to get some other insight from. And they were pretty vocal, some of them, on some of the stuff, and I really miss them tonight. I feel alone. But I just wanted to get that out there, that it's very difficult.
What's your opinion, Commissioner Phelan?
Well, I mean, right now, we're kind of between a rock and a hard spot. We gotta have this set, we gotta have a approved budget by April 1st. I'm willing to approve it. But, I mean, knowing that we're definitely gonna be looking at areas to make cuts.
Well,
Wherever we can, anything, and, trim the fat anywhere we can.
with this list that she gave us,
Well,
subtracting, not doing the eliminate the public library fund.
I mean,
Like,
I didn't
I don't-
edit any of the budget numbers for
none of
this
this-
48-4.
I want that to come to the whole commission.
Okay.
I'd rather-
All of this stuff. I don't
Okay.
want to just arbitrarily put it in.
Right.
because,
Okay.
Pick and choose.
It's important that all the commissioners see what you're trying to do, and we can explain that this is why this will work. I mean, what do you think, Jay?
Well, I said I wouldn't have an issue with eliminating all this stuff except for the public library, but
well, like I said, that's something we need to go over with the
Right.
other two commissioners too.
yeah.
it's a start. I mean, it's something. If we can live without it, then
And it's not for eternity. It's just trying to cut a few things now. Eventually, we get the support of the people because they see how we're trimming a lot of the little things.
I think the highlights, though, you know, all the enterprise funds, no rate increases.
That was great.
Same millage rate, no millage increase. That was all direction
agree.
from the commission, so, I mean, I think that was good that we were able to, you know, not cut services and not raise rates.
I can get it done in 1 year.
Well, I will make a motion to, let's see, how do I word this one? Make a motion to adopt the 2016-17 budget as proposed.
I'll second.
All right, got a motion by Mayor Bostwick, support by Commissioner Phelan. Any more discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
All right, motion carries. Yes, we do, sorry.
Mayor Bostwick,
Yes.
Commissioner Phelan,
Yes.
Commissioner View.
No.
All right. Moving on to the Gus Macker special event application.
This is typical to come before the commission, any special event like this where we have street closures and items like that. There is a representative here tonight from the chamber if we have any questions specifically. Sarah Cole put this together, and the only thing that I heard back from my staff is that you were requesting some dumpsters in the downtown area. We don't have any dumpsters in the downtown area. I think last year we used the dumpster that was behind the former Dewdrop Inn. That was kind of our food place. Maybe we can ask them again to use that. Other than that, we have garbage cans around Delta Avenue, but, you know, not the quantity of a dumpster. Pretty much everything else on the list, we provided last year and can provide again this year, so. Did you have any questions specifically, or?
Would garbage containers help? Do we have extra garbage containers?
I think they really need a dumpster for the
Food? Or for, I mean, because they got lids on it.
quantity, yeah.
Just to empty the trash bags into from the.
Oh, something, so you
Yeah.
need something huge though.
So are you having vendors again this year, or no?
Correct.
You are? Okay.
So it's June 11th and 12th, and they're requesting Delta Avenue be closed off from 9th to 11th, and then 10th from Delta down to
So you got
Minnesota,
Wisconsin here.
Wisconsin.
So they're actually,
It's
a
the
lot
yellow
longer than it
setup,
was
right?
yes-
Yep.
last year.
Same as last
Does it
year.
really just, it's
Yep.
over by Baybank, it ends?
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Well, move that we accept the application for the Gus Macker event to shut the streets on Delta Avenue as listed in our packet for June 11th and 12th, 2016.
I'll support.
All right, got a motion by Commissioner View, support by Commissioner Phelan to close down the roads and to approve the Gus Macker special events application for June 11th and 12th. Any discussion?
Got 5 local sponsors already too, I see, so that's pretty good. And they're always looking for volunteers, I think. It really is a big event, and it really is something for the city of Gladstone. It's it's up to our community to embrace it and utilize what this event can do for any particular business. I think that's the key.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. All right, next is the award, the bid of John and Melissa Bessie Concession Building. Nicole, are you gonna talk about it?
Yep, that's fine.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So I'm here to ask you to award the bid, but I would like to open up by once again thanking the John and Melissa Bessie Foundation for their generous donation. Earlier in the year, we were able to use some of the money to purchase a playground that is up at the sports park. Beautiful playground, and now we're using some of the money to build a new concession stand up at the sports park. We'll be using that for ball field use, but also for other uses in the future. There is a sports park plan that's in place, and Rick, you would know a little bit about disc golf and things like that. So this building is going to house a concession stand, but it also houses restrooms. Although it's not going to be winterized, we don't expect it to be open during the winter, we will be able to use it for other events up at the sports park during the summer months. The last time I was here, it was a little unclear. We had put it out for bids, and the bids came in high. My rec board thought that they were probably too high. They requested that I put those back out for bid, to reject all the bids and then put it back out for bid. We did do that. We were able to get more bids at a lower cost. One of the reasons why we think that the bids came in a little bit lower is because this project is a simple project, and we let it known to the local contractors that they were able to bid on this project, that this would be a project for a smaller company to take advantage of, maybe not a huge company. So we were able to get more bids in. We had a discussion on how they were chosen and they were rated and why do we choose a certain company. I did include all that in your packets, and I'm here to answer any questions.
Well, the only question I have, how was the low bid rated? Was there a total number? Like, I've had a few phone calls from a couple of people, and I don't know if they were city residents, but they were people that bid on the project.
Mhm.
And they just asked me, how did they determine?
I put the scale in there, and we had some people.
Well, I
look
see
up-
the scale, but how do we, qualifications and experience, 33%. Who determines that?
It's a little subjective.
All right, approach, 33%.
A
Do you
little
break it down into other categories too, or is it just kind of that general category?
general.
And I thought at the last commission meeting, and I know you did a lot of work on this, and it's really good, but I have to answer to some other people right now. And I thought that we were gonna get a copy of the actual bids, so that we have some type of knowledge.
I asked specifically last time, and I was told what you guys wanted in the packet, and I provided that for you. We have the original bids. You're more than welcome to look through them. They're at my
Is
office.
there a deadline for this?
There's also copies in Kim's office. She keeps copies of all the bids for all the projects. So those are public knowledge,
Yeah, but I need to know them,
and that's fine.
personally myself.
I asked you specifically last time, and this is what I was told to get, so I did get this for you.
Well, I know the other commissioners, and I don't wanna argue, but I just feel.
Oh, I'm not arguing, Steve. I was
No,
just telling
no.
you what I was asked to get, and I
Nicole,
got
you
it
do
for
a
you.
good job, you write a
Sure.
lot of grants, you do excellent work. I just had some questions on why someone with $25,000 more is getting the bid, and I just wanna be able to verify to the people that ask me, it's because it's the best, lowest bid. And I know what you said about why we gave the bid. I was at your rec board meeting.
You were at all the meetings, so you know the discussion that took place.
So I understand that part. The thing is, how many people seen the bids? How many people totally seen the bids?
Says right here.
Just,
There was 4 or 5 of us that looked them over. I'm sorry, I don't have that in front of me.
Okay. I mean, is it customary, nobody gets to see any bids?
No, anybody can see any bids at all.
I mean, I
They are wide open. The low bid was not the best bid.
Then tell me why, so I can say, yes, we're gonna do this.
I'm not comfortable probably saying that in a public forum. I don't want to take a company's
No, I agree with
reputation and tell you why I didn't do that. The bids are available for you to read, and I would be very comfortable, Steve, that you would probably come up with the same scoring that the other
Well, you
four
can see the
people did.
predicament I'm in, where I have to say something on.
I gotta defend Nicole on this. I did ask her about this and she explained it and, you know, and I agree with her. It probably shouldn't be discussed in public.
Thank you. I'm doing what I think is right. If you want to look at the bids, seriously, there's a copy in Kim's office, there's a copy in my office. You're more than welcome to. I would gladly, my rec board, when they want to see a specific, Gary Stevenson was one of the people that looked it over at the rec board level. If anybody wants to see any of the bids, they are public, they are available to the public at any time. And there's not a deadline on this. The construction's not gonna start until after the season, the ball season.
When's the deadline for it to be done?
Well-
October?
Yeah, something like, yeah.
Before snow flies.
So the public should not worry about spending an extra 20,000 on this because it's.
Well, you can, I
I
guess
mean,
you
if
can
you
look at
know,
it
I
this way.
don't. I still don't.
You can
know.
look at it this way, you can take the low bid and hope it gets done right, or you can take somebody that knows from the area that will get it done.
There are certain things that aren't subjective. Insurances. I can say that. You have to have a certain amount of insurance to work on a job.
License.
There's certain things that are not subjective when you do the scoring. We got the best person for the job, for this job. And you're more than welcome to look at the bids.
Well, I will make a motion that we accept the bid to Jason Lippens Construction in the amount of $165,147.
Support.
All right, got a motion by Mayor Bostwick, support by Commissioner Phelan. Any discussion? Any more?
Nope.
I think one thing you gotta remember though too, is this is money that was donated from John and Melissa Bessie. It's not like you can take that $27,000 and put it into roads or anything else. It has to be used specifically for this stuff.
I understand that. I just need to be able to cover myself, and I'll take, you know, I'll go along with the commission and the recommendation of Nicole. She's steering us in the right direction, you know, so.
So how much money will they have to finish the project?
Well, that's it. I was going over the first bids. From the first bids that were, I was requested to reject, the low bid on the first bids was $228,000. So just right there, with putting it back out, we're able to use the John and Melissa Bessie Foundation money more, So it's going to be, Dar, what was it, 300,000 for the building, minus
260 was for the
260,
building.
the 260 for the building.
Yep.
So, this is a block building, we still have to put cabinets in it, but we were gonna wait until after, the building was done and see who was gonna run the concession and kind of see what kind of cabinetry we were gonna need. So we still don't have a complete total yet of what the building will cost.
Okay.
But, I mean, just putting it out saved, $110,000.
But the
And we got a qualified builder.
The 260 also includes getting the infrastructure to that location,
Yep.
because right now our concession is over by the road. We got to get the infrastructure to the location where this is going.
And although we do have to spend the money, up at the sports park or with the concession, the more money that we save, the better we're able to utilize that money, the more sidewalks we can put in. We need ADA sidewalks up there. We need all of these things to finish the project that we don't have to fundraise for, that we can maybe, the Little League and American Legion can fundraise to do another project up there. So I mean, on the recommendation of the rec board to reject all the bids, although I did get some heat from some contractors, they put a lot of time and energy into putting these bids together, and I can appreciate that. It was the best thing to do, and we did, and the contractor that we chose is going to do a great job, and we're gonna be able to really stretch their money. We're really excited about it, actually.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
And thanks again to the John and Melissa Bessie Foundation. Thanks, you
Yes,
guys.
Thank you. All right, next up is the SCBA system, RFP.
Paul is not with us tonight, but we have Detective Sergeant Robinson here filling in for Paul.
Yep. Good evening, Ron Robinson, Public Safety. As mentioned, Director Geyer's on vacation, so he asked that I stand in his place at the meeting tonight. Our department is seeking an RFP to upgrade our current Cascade self-contained breathing apparatus fill system at the Public Safety. The system that we currently have is only able to fill our old bottles, our old 2216 PSI air bottles. We're soon going to be upgrading to the new 4500 PSI air bottles. The Bessie Foundation grant is purchasing our new apparatus and other equipment, which was approved at prior meetings. Director Geyer estimated that there will be approximately $18,180 remaining from the Bessie grant upon delivery and a payment of the fire truck. Director Geyer estimates the cost of this project to be between $15,000 and $30,000. He has budgeted $15,000 in the 336 fire budget for this coming fiscal year in addition to the grant money to complete this project. The system we are seeking is a compressor system capable of filling our new air bottles without having to send out the Cascade bottles for refilling. Specifics about the system are listed in the RFP. Final possible approval will be at a subsequent meeting. Director Geyer's recommendation is approval to let the RFP out with a due date deadline of April 22nd, 2016 at noon, when the proposals will be opened at the Public Safety Building Facility.
If you sent them out, where would you send them?
That's a good question. I apologize for any lack of knowledge I may have on this issue. I'm not sure where he's going to send them at this time.
I mean, this is something that you basically,
Cascade bottles
We-
have to be sent to Iron Mountain at this time.
oh, Iron Mountain, eh?
Yes.
Okay.
It was tricky to get them.
The bottles to be filled, you mean?
Yeah. I'm
Okay.
just- Yeah, it's just, you
And
know,
then and naturally they charge you for it, right?
Correct.
Escanaba doesn't have something like this either?
Escanaba has a mobile Cascade system which is used to fill our SCBA bottles. But we can't really depend on them because we don't know if they're going to be fighting the fire at the same time or another township is going to be using that truck.
How many tanks do we have?
SCBA tanks or fill tanks? Right now we have 8 fill tanks
Is
to
that
fill
enough?
up our.
So these are actually tanks that you take to the fire with you and fill the.
Well, there's two different, our Cascade system is, we have 8 compressed air fill tanks used to fill our smaller bottles for our SCBA systems.
And again, none of this is coming out of tax
No,
dollars,
it's-
this
yeah.
is all from the grant money.
And budget money. He's already budgeted.
Grant
for it.
and budget money, correct.
Well, I'll move that we approve the SCBA system RFP bid to go out according to how it's written here.
I'll support.
All right, got a motion by Commissioner View, support by Commissioner Phelan to approve the RFP to be let out with a due date deadline of April 22nd, 2016 at noon. Any more discussion?
I think it's well worth our community to have this set up.
And
Absolutely.
one thing I wanted to relay to everybody in the audience is our ISO rating, and this is something I wasn't aware of as before I became a commissioner, but our ISO rating has just been upgraded to a 5, right?
Right.
Lowered, actually. The lower the number, the better, which reflects on your insurance policies, gives you a better rate. And I thought that was pretty neat. I mean, that's really something I didn't know.
Do the insurance companies, we
They
have to
go off
tell
of
them?
our, no, they go off of our ISO rating. when
So they go
when
to the cities,
They know our ISO rating. They're informed.
so
so then-
automatically each citizen will have some type of
Well, every year at your
Savings.
renewal,
Right.
your insurance company should be checking, has that changed? And quoting you
If they don't,
accordingly.
you should ask them if they did.
Yeah.
well, that's why I'm saying that. I don't know if they are or not, but it's something for us to check into.
Yep.
Yep.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. I'd just like to say thanks to the Bessie Foundation for the
Yeah.
money they give.
Definitely.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next is the budget amendment for the fiscal year 2015-16 budget amendments. Vicki?
Before you are the last and final round for the budget amendments for this current fiscal year. According to Public Act 621, any expenses that have gone over budget need to be amended to have a final balanced budget. I'll just quickly go through. The general fund is the first sheet. I amended the revenues, so we will have an additional $70,000 in budgeted revenue going into the general fund. We have a couple of departments, city commission, city manager, city assessor, treasurer. Some of it is legal fees. City assessor had to purchase a new computer, as well as I did. Also the tax software that I use, that expense increased for this year. City clerk, I had to amend her copies and postage. Cemetery grounds, DPW benefits for winter burials. Parks, they had to amend their payroll. And materials and supplies, with the nice fall that we had, they had to keep that open longer. And also recreation admin had to amend that. With these budget amendments, we are looking at an estimated ending fund balance for the 3/31/16 fiscal year of $681,000. The next page is Major Street Fund, and Mark had to amend a couple departments in the Major Street Fund: non-motorized, surface maintenance, sweeping and flushing. Mostly I'll just basically payroll and everything that follows payroll, Social Security, Medicare.
I do have a question about that.
Mhm.
How does your payroll, why does that DPW benefit seem to go up so much higher than what the percentage of payroll goes up?
DPW benefits, how that works is it's recorded in a separate department. And any one of the DPW workers, wherever they work, is where their payroll is charged. But their benefits, their health care, their retirement, anything like that does not follow payroll. So I have to do a journal entry to actually record that. That does have any retirees in there that have retired out of the DPW department. It also has their retirement expenses rolled into that also. So that might be why it might be a little bit more expensive.
Well, I mean, you see what I'm saying? If you look at sweeping and flushing, you had payroll of an increase of $1,000, and then you had budgeted $2,000 for worker benefits, but that went up $3,687.
And that probably would be the retiree benefits that are included in the DPW worker.
So we don't
benefits.
calculate that at the beginning of the year? We wait till the end of the year to figure that out?
I do a journal entry every other month. So, and it all depends on where they work, where the DPWs work, or where the DPW employees work.
Okay.
Any other questions on Major Street? With that said, there's estimated fund balance of $186,000. The next one says DDA at the top of it, which is supposed to be local street. That's a mistake. He had new construction, non-motorized, surface maintenance, storm drains, sweeping and flushing, and that is pretty much the same thing with payroll, benefits. I think they were just working in those departments a little bit more this year. And with those changes, there would be an estimated fund balance of $47,000. The next one is the state trunk line fund, and that is a fund that is completely 100% reimbursed by the state of Michigan, and there was just a little bit of increased expenses there. Next one is economic development, and they just had depreciation costs that there wasn't a budget amount set up for that. Proposed ending fund balance is $225,000. The next one is capital projects fund. Just wanted to put out the reminder that this is the capital projects fund where if it's a major project, this is where it is recorded. If it's a project where a lot of different departments are working on, we record it here, so it's just easier for direct revenue, direct expenses. The additional GIS expenditures, those will be covered by a department, whichever department Adam worked in. And then also setting up the budget for, with the revenue that we received from the Bessie, and also the expenses for the concession stand and the playground. Next one is solid waste, and Mark is just amending the forestry, garbage collection, city cleanup, and administration. And with these additional expenses of $58,600, estimated ending fund balance is just over $200,000. The next one is the electric fund, which had quite a few budget amendments. I increased the revenue by almost $83,000. He had budget amendments for administration, the different transfers, the transfer to general fund, harbor fund, solid waste. Those were all of the loans that the commission paid off at a previous commission meeting. Safety training, meter reading and billing, consumer services, WPPI, new construction, street lighting, line maintenance, and inventory. And with those budget amendments, the estimated ending cash balance at 3/31 is $2.1 million. The next one are the wastewater fund and the water fund. And Eric would like for me to defer to him to make notes on his budget amendment. So Eric.
Wastewater, the 590 fund, we had a net decrease in income, and that is because we had an increase in consumer service reimbursement. The first line item, that was mostly because we put in a couple extra lift stations out in Kipling, and the homeowners reimbursed us. Masonville revenue reimbursement, the Days River lift station went down, and we had to buy a bunch of parts and impellers to rebuild that lift station, and we take care of it, but they reimbursed us. The deduct of the $34,940, originally we had set up for a transfer from the waterfront to the wastewater plant fund to pay for the Vector truck, but instead we just took money out of the water fund, just direct paid when we bought the Vector truck. We didn't go through the initial step of doing a transfer because it's co-owned between water and wastewater. The expense side, on the big line items, the new lines, Dakota Avenue, we rescheduled that for this year because that's a joint pavement and a sewer job. The Masonville Township Materials and Supplies, that shows where the expense is for our added income. That's the Dave's River lift station rebuild and a couple new impellers. See, administrative payroll, I must have miscalculated. I cut that by 13,000. I think some of that is because of I have more. The guys are older and they have their vacation sick leave is accumulated, and they didn't use as much vacation, which comes out of the administrative payroll. So they have that bank, but they didn't use it last year. Going down, the next big one is down at the bottom would be building and grounds. I had budgeted new boilers or additional boilers so we can take some of the work off our old boiler there. We're gonna do natural gas boilers and then replace the big boiler with a methane boiler. But this was the two natural gas boilers, which I have the specs made up, and we just didn't have time to get it done in time for this budget year. It'll be happening soon in the next budget year. Any questions on wastewater? We cut income was cut by 11,000, but our expenses were cut by almost 78,000. So. Getting down to water, on the income side, the big change is we got into a financial agreement with Rock to read their water meters and do the utility billing for them. So that's showing a net income of 41,800. But that is also, if you look down on the expenses, we had to create a new category for expenses for Rock, and you'll see the bottom 5 or 6 lines are all related to Rock. So so there's income and expenses on that, and we'll make enough to pay our payroll plus an additional, I think, what is it, about $4,200 right now, and that's a fee that we'll be able to negotiate each year with Rock. Let's see, under the other expenses, under new capital lines, what we did there was we created, I originally just budgeted that under capital outlay, and we created a new, we split the capital outlays under one under CDBG, the grant project, and then one under the Third Avenue project. So it's just basically a net change of, it's not really amendment, we're just switching the names of those categories. Big ticket item further down was plant operation and maintenance, our filter build, which we did last week. Kelgon was in town. We worked with him for 3.5 days, and we have our new filter beds installed, and they're operational. That was about $110,000 project. And then I have the Vector truck on here. Instead of doing a transfer, we just paid cash out of our regular fund balance, and then the rest is just Rock. This is the Rock water fund expenses. So we have it comes out to be a net increase of, if you take our income increase and our expense increase, our net, we increased our expenses by about 58,000, but that was a change we made midway through the year, 3/4 of the way through the year, when we decided to do our granular activated carbon build at the water plant. Any questions on water? Thanks.
I have one question. You know, just general question. The deficit reduction plan of the equipment, I see a couple of items listed in there. We just passed last meeting to eliminate all that by taking $290-some thousand. Is this additional money we're also paying for last year
This is just amending the budget.
to match what we gave up to $250,000 for? We approved to pay off the equipment fund to get it balanced to zero of $250,000. Is this additional money beyond that?
Well, the 250 entry can't be done though until we have the year-end wrap-up done.
But this'll kind of take away from that then, right? I mean, you'll subtract the 3,000.
This is just regular, the last page here is just regular
Oh, you mean
items.
for the equipment fund?
Yeah, to get that balance to zero. You have entries in here that we said we will go up to 250,000 out of the electrical fund to get that to zero.
So your estimated ending is 203,000, 250 should cover it?
That's what I'm,
That's what he's asking.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
so it's not additional beyond that. It
No.
ain't 250 and then the
No.
additional.
And
Okay.
then some, no. Was there any other questions on any of the other budget amendments?
So money spent already in it.
Money that's been spent already, yes.
Haven't paid the bill on a carbon yet.
No, we have the money there to pay it. We
We
just
want to
need
come and
to.
get it back.
I'll move that we approve the fiscal year 2015-16 budget amendment as presented through Public Act 621 of 1978. The listing in front of us.
I'll support.
All right, got a motion by Commissioner View, support by Commissioner Phelan to approve the fiscal year 2015-16 budget amendments. Any more discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next is the municipal financial consultants.
The commission directed me to look for a certified financial company to do some analysis of our books, and they had to be approved by Michigan Department of Treasury, the company that we chose. I contacted 8 companies according to Treasury's list. 5 of them were from Michigan. 3 of them are basically, in talking with them, they're specifically bond counsel. They wouldn't do analysis like we were looking for. One didn't return my phone call, and the one that kind of seemed to fit best was the Municipal Financial Consultants Incorporated. And the proposal is before you tonight for them to look at our MERS payment, our last year audit, our current budget, any kind of financial analysis we're looking for. And their proposal is $5,000 plus travel and expenses for them to come and present the findings to the commission when they were ready.
You know, personally, I'd like to table this myself until Mike and Joe are here, because I guess I want to understand why they want to do this and not go through Anderson Tackman like we do on a yearly basis anyway. I don't know why we want to spend the additional money. to
Well,
have
this wouldn't be an audit. We would still have to do an audit.
Right.
But this is additional analysis that Commissioner O'Connor was
Well, I think
requesting.
I'd still like, me, myself, I would like to see what Mike's ideas are behind this
Okay. Table until when?
next commission meeting.
The 11th? 2 commissioners will be missing.
Well, then let's do it on the 25th.
All right, you
24th.
want to make a motion then?
I move that we table this till April 25th meeting.
I'll support it. A motion by Commissioner Phelan and support by Mayor Bostwick to table the municipal finance consultant till the April 25th meeting. Any more discussion?
I would just like to make the comment that I was at the Capitol Conference along with Jay in Lansing last week, and I brought this up to some of the associates down there that does this kind of stuff, and he said that what we're asking for here, for $5,000, we're not gonna get the answer we're looking for as commissioners. And I talked to Commissioner O'Connell about it, and he said that it was okay to table it. He's gonna, he's spearheading this, he's a consultant, so I want to get his input on it
Right.
as much as possible. It'll be a waste of $5,000 because the conclusion in the end is not going to give you what you want. Everybody I've talked to there that does this type of evaluation of where your city's going, it's 25 to 35,000. And Commissioner O'Connell said he will call the people that I made contact with down there, and he will be able to come to the next meeting and fill us in on what he thinks. So it's not what we're looking for right now. I don't think it is.
All right. So all those in favor of tabling it to the April 25th meeting, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next is the appointment to the DDA, Mr. Ron Miasso, and this is to fill Tom Dykowski's spot.
Yep, at the last regular DDA board meeting, Tom Dykowski notified the board, due to his work schedule, will not be able to attend like all of our summer meetings, so he felt best to resign his position. And Mr. Miasso had put in his DDA application a month or so ago, and Derby Chase did as well. So Derby Chase was appointed already, another vacancy. Mr. Miasso is still interested in being on the DDA board, so.
And I'll tell you what, I read his application. What an asset for the city.
Yeah.
I mean, if anyone wants to look at it, he really has a lot of resources and education to help our city out. So I'll move that we appoint Mr. Ron Miasso
Miasso? Mhm.
to the DDA board. Term expiring May 1st, 2000, what is that, just
Couple
2 months?
I
okay.
asked him if we couldn't just, can we add, it's a,
Well, he's gonna have a 2-month trial period to see
Yeah.
if he wants to stay.
I'll support.
All right, got a motion by Commissioner View, support by Commissioner Phelan. Any discussion? The only thing I have to say is, I know there's still one more opening,
yes.
so if there's anyone, and I believe it's a business owner, it has to be in the downtown area, or
Business.
In the DDA district.
in the DDA district.
Right,
yep.
yep.
So if anyone who meets that criteria want to fill out an application, they're online, or you can go to Kim, I believe, has the applications. All right, so all those in favor of appointing Ron Miasso to the DDA, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next is authorize the city clerk to appoint election inspectors for the May 3rd election.
Kim had mentioned this at the last commission meeting. We have another election May 3rd, and she needs people to work it, so.
Gee, you're not on it.
Hey,
Oh, yeah, you
know.
are.
Yeah.
Do we have to ask conflict of interest?
Well, last time you said no, so I don't think.
I mean, do you have to ask every time?
I don't think there's a conflict.
No,
of
I don't
interest.
either,
There's
but I
no
mean-
city,
Right.
there's nothing with the
Right.
city on
Yeah.
this ballot anyway, so. I move that we authorize Kim to appoint election inspectors for the May 3rd, 2016 special election.
Support.
All right, motion by Commissioner Phelan, support by Commissioner View. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next up is the open forum.
I think there was just a little confusion in when the next open forum
There
is gonna be be held, so.
My understanding was the first one was gonna be the first month, and the first meeting of the month, and from
Oh.
thereafter, it was gonna be the second meeting of the
Right.
month. Just regularly, always the second meeting of the month. I don't know if we have to
Okay.
make a motion and debate that or not, Debbie, but I would move that we have it always the second meeting of the month, so it can be published for the whole year.
And last time when we did at 6 o'clock, that was too late. I thought, I would think more like 5:30. And then that would at least give an
I will
hour,
add
an hour
that to my
and
motion that we start at 5:30 to
Okay.
6:45, if needed,
if needed.
if needed.
And there be no topics either.
Yeah.
No topics.
No agenda tag to it.
We just need people to come and talk.
All right, I'll support that. So got a motion by Commissioner View, support by Mayor Bostwick, to have each of them the second second Monday of the month at 5:30 to 6:45 if needed.
No, it wouldn't
Be
be
the
the
fourth
second
Monday.
Monday, it'd be the second commission meeting.
Second commission meeting, yeah.
Well, that's
Sorry.
what it is, yeah.
That's what I meant.
Okay.
I said it wrong. All right, all those in, any more discussion? All right, all those in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. All right. Next is the closed session, the Attorney Terry Burkhart written opinion letter. And then we also have a city manager evaluation under closed session. We're gonna move both of those to the end of after the city clerk comments.
You're making a motion?
Yes, I'll make that
I'll
motion.
support it.
All right, motion by Mayor Bostwick, support by Commissioner View to move I and J to the end of after city clerk comments. Any discussion?
The only thing is as far as the city manager evaluation, Darla, how do you feel about moving that out?
That's fine.
Just because there's only 3 of us here, so we could just do the letter after public comment.
Sure.
Okay,
Well, we can move it then, and then let's do the motion
Right.
first, and then
Okay.
when we get there, we could make a motion to,
Well, don't we have to move that? in
Table
open
it
meeting.
till April 25th.
Yeah. I move that we table Darla's evaluation until April
can
20th.
you have 2 motions at the same
no,
time?
no, we have to
I'm
finish
sorry.
the first one first.
Okay.
Okay, so all those in favor of moving I and J to the end after city clerk comments, say aye.
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 Now,
Okay.
Motion,
Now I move that
Okay.
we move
Motion.
Darla's evaluation until April 25th.
all right, I'll
I'll
support,
I'll
I'll
sup-
support, you support.
I'll support that.
All right,
We're all on it.
motion by Commissioner Phelan, support by Commissioner View to table the city manager's evaluation till April 25th meeting. All those,
Well, I got a comment.
okay,
Is it gonna be the same format that you have in our packets today? Where you're gonna explain the role of our charter with our commissioners, and then the next time we'll.
Sure.
I mean, I was hoping.
If you don't mind,
No,
that's fine with
I
me.
appreciate that
Sure.
for getting us in line with.
I agree.
All right, good.
Okay.
all right, all those in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. All right, next is city manager's report.
I don't have much. I've been on trying to be on vacation, been called in for meetings and stuff. I do want to congratulate the Gladstone Brave Bots. They had a competition earlier this month in Escanaba. They took first amongst 40 other communities. Congratulations to the Brave Bots. That was pretty much all I had.
All right. Any city commission and committee reports, board and commission report? All right, next up is public comment.
Oh, wait a minute.
Oh, sorry. Sorry.
Hi, I'm Eric Buckman, Water Wastewater Superintendent. I'm also on the Delta County Landfill Board, along with Commissioner View. Our last meeting last week, we had quite a discussion on their compost site, or our compost site at the county landfill. Similar type problems, probably a little bigger size. We had a lot of folks are dumping, semi-loads of stumps at the landfill, and there's no market for wood chips right now, or the ground up wood that we usually, what usually happens is we have a tub grinder come in and they grind it up and for free, and then sell it to the paper mill, so they eat that cost. Well, there's no market. The paper mill doesn't, it's cheaper for them to burn natural gas right now in their boilers, so And it costs about $500 an hour to have a tub grinder on site, so. The county landfill compost site, we decided that the first step is they're going to, it's still going to be open 24 hours a day, but just for leaves and grass clippings. And it's going to be barricaded off so you can't bring a semi-sized vehicle in there. It's just going to be for trucks or cars with trailers. And that'll be open 24 hours a day. Again, that's just going to be for leaves and grass clippings. We'll also be accepting brush up to 3 inches in diameter, and it's still going to be free of charge, but you're going to have to go over the scale. You're not going to be weighed, but they just want you to keep track of what's coming in. So they'll only be able to haul the brush into the county compost during open hours of the landfill. And they're hoping, there's also some discussion of keeping that at 1 load a day. I don't remember how we ended up on that. There's still, this is sort of a work in progress, but everybody, all the guys on the board are announcing it at their different government levels of what is going on. The big thing is there's going to be no stumps, no logs, or building materials will be allowed in the compost site, because the brush will be checked in at the scale, and that'll be only during regular working hours. So, are there any questions? I know we were talking about our compost site, but there's also the county compost site. So,
That's a nice option.
yeah.
The scale you go over, be right at the landfill, you mean?
Yeah, you won't get weighed, you just come in and they'll make sure you're not bringing in big branches or big limbs or logs or whatever, so.
Is there a DEQ site? Is that a official site there? Where they turn it, they do the temperature, and you can take the compost out without paying for it or not?
Yep, that'll still be the same, but again, that'll be open 24 hours a day, but they're putting up big concrete barriers so that you can't haul I don't know if you talked to the manager, if you'd be able to get a larger, if they have excess, if you could be able to get a larger amount at a single time, but they're just trying to control the dumping that they have been finding when they come into work in the morning. There's just piles of stumps and stuff like that right at the gate. And it's getting too expensive to take care of that stuff, so. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, now we'll move on to public comment.
Name is Ken Levine, live 2722 South Hill Road, Gladstone. Okay. The compost site doesn't look too good for us right now, but I did know one thing. Somebody called me this morning and said, we having a meeting tonight. I said, we have? He said, how come it wasn't in the shopper this week? I went and looked, so I called the shopper, the woman down there. She says, well, there was nothing put in there. Why wasn't it put in there? Could have had a lot more people here, maybe, if they'd known what the meeting was about tonight. I just don't get it.
I don't know, I was on vacation, I know the
Well, I'm not
clerk's on
blaming
vacation.
you. Or somebody's supposed to do it. Whoever was supposed to do it didn't do it. Okay, we're talking now. We got $4,500 worth of people delinquent on their water and electric bills. Is that true? I believe it is. I've read it. Okay, some of these people are senior citizens. They don't get their Social Security at the time of the month that the water bill or electric bill is that's due to be paid. They live from payday to payday. There's 400 people that couldn't pay their water bills, electric bills this summer. There's over $100,000 worth of delinquent taxes in this town. I mean, over 100 homes for sale. What does that tell us what's happened to our town? all you commissioners are trying to do the right thing, and I'm with him. That article he wrote in the press Friday, everything he says there, I believe. And I believe every one of you commissioners, do your job and make sure everybody that you have to supervise, whether they're managers or what they are, they do their job, because if they don't, you're the ones that are gonna pay, because they're gonna blame you. We don't need that, because I think right now, we got a good board. And it should stay that way if everybody does their job. That's it.
All right, thank you. Any other public comment? All right, next up is the city commissioner's comment. Commissioner Phelan.
I really don't have nothing tonight, other than there's a bug going around, I don't feel good.
All right, Commissioner View.
No comment, I said it all already, we only had 3 people here. It wasn't much time.
And I don't have anything either. Did Kim have anything for you to add?
She did not.
Okay. All right, then going back to the closed session for Attorney Terry Burkhart's written opinion letter. I think, do we have to just do a roll call on that? Or do we have to?
You have to
or
do
make
a, you
mo-
have to do a roll call, or you have to do a motion and a roll call,
Motion and.
but you have to specify what the letter is about. Her notes, Kim's notes that were in the packet is an example of what the motion should be, and, you know, specifies that the motion should say what. What the matter was for the letter.
You're our attorney.
All right, I'll move that we adjourn to closed session with Attorney Terry Burkhart. To discuss a what?
Written opinion.
Okay, a written opinion of council.
I'll second it.
All right, got a motion and a second to go into executive session. Now I think
Now roll call.
roll call.
Commissioner View,
Yes.
Commissioner Phelan,
Yes.
and Mayor Bostwick.
No. All right, I guess we're going into closed session.
Now, did you need?